But like say I have Alia 9 to 10, I have Deepika 10 to 11, I have Katrina 11 to 12, and they know. So they all keep to their time. Focusing on my strengths is one thing which helps in age reversal. How can I get a heart attack? And then I realized that it's anxiety that's built up to such a great degree. And I know that we have nepotism now, but even those kids have to, okay, maybe the first movie comes to them, but the public is not kind. But I believe that it shouldn't be a cheat day, it should be a cheat meal. My son has my name on his phone as Hitler.
So Yasmin, welcome to the LSM podcast. And we are so honored to have you, somebody like you.
And I'm honored to be here too.
And, this mostly people won't believe it, but what is the person who's sitting in front of us, you look gorgeous and, everybody's kind of like really admiring at that you're now 53 and 53 this month. So you're Leo.
No, I'm a Cancerian.
You're a Cancerian.
I've already turned 53.
Oh, you've turned 53. So, we've got you looking like this right now, but it seems like when you were younger, you were quite lazy. So what's the story there?
Well, I wasn't quite lazy when I was younger. I was very lazy. I hated working out. My mother tried to put me in athletics, saying, get off the couch and start doing something. And every morning when we had athletic practice, I'd either have a stomach ache, a headache, or I'll be coughing, pretending to cough, sneezing. Hated doing that all through school. The only thing I took part in was march past. Because you could hold the school flag, so I'd reach that level. Yeah, so I loved it because I loved to get the attention.
And which school was this?
It was St. Agnes, Convent of Jesus and Mary, Baikala. And I used to do shot put and javelin because I was very strong. And I loved, I didn't have to move, right? So you could say you did some sport, but people didn't need to know what. And moved to college. My best friend started dating a boy and she wanted to look good and, work out and say that she was working out or whatever. Forced me to join a gym with her. I hated going, but it was peer pressure. If you love me, you'll do this for me. Plus the gym had a great scheme, two for the price of one, and she didn't want to even pay that. So anyway, I went. She knew exactly what she was doing. She went to the weight section. I'd never seen a gym. I saw a room where people were dancing, and that was aerobics in those days. So I said, oh, I'm a great dancer. I can do this. I've got it. I went into the room, made a complete fool of myself because didn't know what coordination meant in a class, in an aerobic class. So when the class was going right, I would be standing in place wondering what to do. By the time I figured out you had to go right and was going right, the class was already going left. So banged into a few people, kicked a few people. Everyone gave me these dirty looks like, why are you even here? And I felt so bad after the class that I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to show these people. I can't be that bad. So I kept going back to the class just to prove to people that I could do better, not realizing that in the sequence of events, I knew what I was doing. And one day when the instructor was sick, she said, why don't you teach my class? She called me at home and I said, how can I teach your class?
So you became that good?
Apparently, I didn't even know. So when I went to class, she said, this was the world of the cassette. So just put the cassette in and do whatever comes to your mind. And I realized it was a 10-song cassette. And I knew.
For our listeners, we'll need to put an image of what a cassette is.
What a cassette looks like. Yeah, the Gen Z definitely don't know. Not even the CDs or the LDs we used to have in our days. Anyway, did the whole class, all 10 songs, knew exactly what to do. I was even mimicking how the teacher spoke, and I just realized I love doing this. I love telling people what to do. And I think that's where the beginning of my career started, because after class, the same people who had looked down on me on day one or made those faces came up to me and said, when did you do this? And I was like, right now. I completed college. I was going to the US for a summer camp. And the instructor said, why don't you go do a certification? And I thought to myself, I could teach a class when I didn't know anything. How difficult can it be? It was really difficult, because when I went to the States, the first thing the teacher asked me is, you have a science background? And I had an economics background. So I was like, no. And she said, how are you going to learn the body, the bones and the muscles? And so it was hard. It was the maximum I've ever studied, but totally worth it.
So that trigger was, I'll prove them wrong.
I'll prove them wrong, yeah.
I'll prove them wrong was the trigger. Actually, for the listeners, there's a fantastic TED talk that Yasmin has done. And she speaks a little bit more about this story and your best friend and how that was a lot of the inspirations, really touching talk that you did.
How old were you at that time when all these things were happening?
So when I went to the class for the first time, I was 18. And when I went to the US, I was 20.
Okay.
So I became an instructor at 21, came back, started doing step aerobic classes. And yeah, I think it was like a side, just something to do to earn a little bit of money, because my main passion was teaching kids, being a teacher. And I also became a teacher. So I used to teach in the mornings and train in the evenings.
What would you say to your 18-year-old self about how to be more proactive?
You really break down 3 steps to be from lazy to healthy.
So I think the most important thing is to find what drives you. Right? So for work, we find what drives us and we give it. I think for exercise, what people don't realize is find the one thing that you enjoy doing. We normally hear, my friend did Zumba and lost so much weight, or this person went to the gym and has built such great muscles. But I might follow what somebody else is doing, not really enjoy it, but keep doing it because somebody else saw results with it, right? I have to realize that I am my own person who needs to find my path, even in fitness, to what I enjoy to do, to make it a lifestyle. The second thing is, fitness is not a destination. It's a journey. You have to continuously keep at it. It has to make you feel good. When you walk out of the gym or like a workout, or even like a 10-minute workout that I was telling you earlier about before we started, it has to make you feel good. It doesn't have to make you feel, yes, momentarily you're tired, you're beat, but the moment you drink a glass of water, a protein shake, you should be like, okay, ready to take on the world. So I think that feeling, certain exercises give you, certain don't, and it's very individualistic. And I think all of us need to find that one thing that, drives us to work out or to make it happen, that when you miss a day, you feel like something's missing in my day, right? And I think the third thing would be to continuously keep doing it and try to get better and keep changing it as well. So if I'm going to the gym and I'm doing a leg workout and I'm doing squats, lunges, glute bridges, every time I go to the gym and I do the same sequence for my legs, my body's not going to like it anymore. It needs variation. So I need to mix it up. I need to throw in something new. I need to do something old with a completely different mindset. So if I've been doing 20 squats with like 10 kgs, I need to do no weight and do 30 squats or 50 squats. Keep changing it around, keep making it more interesting for yourself.
Interesting. And, you seem to be making workouts very, very interesting for a lot of very inspiring people and a lot of very famous people. A lot of Bollywood is coming to you. I think Katrina Kaif is coming to you, Alia Bhatt is coming to you, Deepika Padukone is coming to you, and Ananya is coming to you. So there's lots of, the who's who are coming to you. Now, if there's a lot of who's who coming to one source, that means there's something magical in a source. So, what is it about you that you think? I mean, I know not to be humble, but just like to be.
No, so I'll tell you exactly what it is. There's no magic. There's no magic wand. There's nothing. It's just that I try to make things interesting. Like what I said earlier, I change it around. They never come and do the same workout. So, and that's the reason I got into Pilates, and I brought Pilates to India, is because there's so much variety. So we can do gym on a day when they're feeling really energetic. On a day they're tired, we do Pilates, but we don't repeat the same Pilates workout or gym workout every time they come. Even when we're doing cardio, I try to we have a cross trainer, we have a treadmill, we have a cycle, we have we have a tread climber. I'll say, you know what, we're doing 30 minutes, let's do 10 on different machines, 10 minutes each. So it's not like, okay, let's just go walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes, because whatever said and done, that gets boring. So it's changing things up. It's, I think a lot of them also come to me because they're scared of me and they can't tell me what to make them do. But at the same time, I can see their body and like kind of know what they need, whether it's for a role that they're playing, whether it's, for a holiday that they're going or coming back from, or a dance that they're going to be doing where it's going to be really hectic. So then I know the body needs more calming, stretchy workouts. So it's being able to adapt the workout to what their body requires, and that's one thing I learned in Pilates. We train the body in front of us. We don't have a set, like I might have a set workout, say for you today when you're coming in, and you come in and your body language is completely different. I'll change the workout. I might stick to the same pattern, but I'll change the exercises. And another thing I do is I write my workouts down. So I'm not because I feel like when you think on the spot, you tend to give the same kind of exercises which come easier to you, which have less work to set up because you're trying to move, right? Everything about life is being fast, getting out of there. So I write workouts because when I sit and write, I plan different exercises which I might not even like teaching that often because it's a lot of setup time. But when it's written on paper, and like Katrina is the best about this because she'll look at the paper and sometimes I deviate from it and she'll be like, but this exercise is not here. You're making me do something else. And then I have to explain, because I don't think your body is ready for this, or I feel like the energy you have right now, this exercise you won't enjoy as much. You might find it too simple because today you're bouncing with energy.
So you're kind of always sensing it. And a lot of that is coming with, this experience that you have over the years.
It's experience, it's interest, it's passion. I love what I do.
And you said you're strict. Are you really strict?
Yeah.
Like super strict with
my son has my name on his phone as Hitler.
Okay, that explains it.
What's one fun story where you have been very strict with a celeb?
Yeah, any client.
Like, why do they call you strict?
Why do they call me strict? I think I don't have to have a story. I think it's just my aura. I think I just have that thing that I'm a no-nonsense person. And I think my body language exudes it. I think it's the way I speak. I'm very direct with what I say. I'm not awed, or I'm not in awe of my clients. For me, they're just another person, like the next, a body in front of me that I have to train. The stakes are much higher. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Because they have something to perform or to be ready for. That's the only difference.
It must be immensely gratifying, right? Like when you see it on the big screen and millions of people are like,
oh my God, I feel so good.
Yeah.
And I feel good because it's like if I've achieved what we were working towards, for me, that is my reward. Like, I'm like, okay, we did it,
Wanted to know, like, how with our lifestyle we can reduce that pace of aging.
So I think the number one aging factor is stress, right? And in this fast-paced, competitive life of ours, I think stress is just something that most of us struggle to overcome. And that's also because we set our goals so high, and we're always looking at competition. So the one thing that's always worked for me is I don't follow any of my competitors on Instagram. I don't watch what anybody's doing. I use all that energy to focus into how can I make myself better. So my entire focus is, people will come and tell you, oh, but this one is doing this. Why aren't you? And I'm like, why don't you go? If you want to, I'm very happy. You want to try something different. I'm not going to do something which I'm only doing because somebody else is doing it, because I know what my strength is. And I only believe in making my strength stronger, if that makes sense, right? Yeah. So for me, it's like, okay, I know X, Y, Z. Now I want to go abroad and study ABC. So for me, to make myself better is to learn more, to learn something new that I've seen as safe, effective, and people are going to benefit from it. So that keeps the stress away. Money comes, right? I don't decide, okay, this is the amount of money I need to earn this year. It's like money will come. Just do what you're doing. I think for me, accolades are better than, I wouldn't say better than money, as good as money, because money is important for all of us. And I'd be lying to say I do this for passion and not money. But I think focusing on my strengths is one thing which helps in age reversal. Not bothering about, not letting competition slow you down or make you doubt yourself. At the same time, competition is healthy, right? I mean, if there was no competition and you were the only person ruling the market, there was a point where you will stagnate. So competition does make you learn more to better yourself. I believe in eating clean, so I won't eat from packages. I try to drink a vegetable juice every single day. I try to make it green one day, red one day, try to add in as much color. I exercise every day. I meditate every day. So I think it's just a combination of the lifestyle. I watch Netflix every day. So it's like, if I have to go out for dinner and I don't get time, that's the only time I watch TV in the day. I feel like I've not rested, because my rest comes from just sitting in bed, not lying down, sitting in bed and watching TV.
Very interesting. Would love to know more about what do you eat? What do you eat in a day? Like average, if we have to track your diet.
So I've been doing intermittent fasting for a really, really long time. So it's a way of life for me. I do 16 hours, but I don't kill myself if I've had dinner at 11 o'clock one day because I've gone out that, the next day I will. It's okay. That, my cutoff is like 1:30 is when I have something. I eat chicken, I eat fish, I eat quinoa. I don't eat gluten. I'll tell you what I don't eat. I don't have dairy. I don't have gluten. I don't have sugar. Okay.
No sugar, no natural sugar also.
What is natural
Fruits.
sugar?
Yeah, like fruits.
Yeah, of course I eat fruits. Yeah, of course I eat fruits. And I also have coconut sugar. Only in my coffee, which is like a little bit of coconut sugar. In my evening coffee. Because that's the coffee which I have with my almond milk and my coconut sugar, and I enjoy it. And it's in my car right now. On my way back, that's what I'm going to have. So I eat a lot of vegetables. I control the amount of fruit I eat. Like if I'm eating a mango, it'll be just one mango a day. And I don't go crazy overeating mangoes. I eat... because I don't eat gluten, my house has brown rice atta. So we make our chapatis the same way everyone does, but it's only brown rice chapatis. So yeah.
This word gluten, it's not very prevalent in, let's say, tier 2, tier 3 city. Wheat.
Yeah, though wheat is our standard diet, right? Rotis are. What's happened is over the years, because of the different elements of lifestyle that we have and the different foods that we have, a lot of us are gluten intolerant. That means our body cannot digest wheat that easily. right? If I told this to my grandmother, if she was alive, she would have like rubbished me and said, "Hum to aise hi bade hue." But see the kind of activity they used to have, right? In the olden age, like one generation before mine, two before yours probably, they would go to the well to get their own water. There were no cars available. They would stand in line for buses, take a bus, go, like, even for example, and this is an example I use in my book, to pay an electricity or a telephone bill. You had to get down your house. If you had a lift, great. If not, you had to take the stairs down, walk to the bus stop, stand in line, get into the bus, go to the telephone, place, whatever, climb up the stairs, stand in another line, pay your bill, and then do the reversal back. What do we do now? So we have a chapter called Fingers Over Bodies, how the fingers have taken over what the bodies used to do. And that is the reason our bodies are not able to tolerate a lot of the food that was easily digested, 30 years, 40, 50 years back.
How would I know that I'm gluten or lactose?
So if you feel like you have swelling, or you're feeling bloated, or you can't, like, how some people say, I wake up in the morning feeling bloated and I don't know why, right? Or my stomach is always feeling uncomfortable, right? We would probably take out a lot of other things except the roti. And now you have a test that you can do for gluten intolerance.
The other thing that is interesting from what you said about delaying aging is this. You said first thing, you said stress. And you said also that you do meditation every day. Now, with stress, what's actually happening in the brain is we're releasing cortisol. So that cortisol is affecting us, breaking down some of our bodily functions. And meditation is then actually kind of regulating the release of that cortisol. So I'm just curious about, like, do you see a linkage between stress and meditation? And, what's your meditation practice like?
So I'll tell you very, very honestly, Harshil, I never meditated. I never needed to meditate because I feel like my exercise is meditation. Because when you do Pilates, you're constantly inhaling and exhaling with mindfulness, right? Pilates is a very mindful movement. We call it mindful movement because we're moving. And if you hear me taking a Pilates class, you'll hear me only saying with the other instructions, inhale, exhale, inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And when we're taught to be Pilates teachers, we're not taught to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're taught to tell the client with every movement or every alternate rep to breathe. Inhale, exhale. So even when my instructors are training me and they don't do it, I'm like, why are you not telling me to breathe? And they're like, because ma'am, you are the, whatever, and you're the teacher. And I'm like, right now I'm a student. You need to tell me because I have 10 things happening in my mind as well. So when I'm exercising, I need to breathe as well. So the Pilates breath is very, very mindful, meditative. And a few months back, we had a lot of stress at work and I didn't realize there was about 6 months of different things happening. People, main people quit. We do this Pilates festival once a year. And it's very stressful because we get 150 people. It's like a wedding preparation. And imagine planning a wedding every year.
Yeah, it's insane.
Okay, it's insane. So, and I don't realize this because maybe I was less than 50 then and now I'm over 50. And I'm also, in the last 4 years, we've got like 6 new franchises opened up. So there's that work. We're training trainers all the time. Like, I don't even realize how many things have added up. And I suddenly felt like literally I can remember this one day when I felt like I was going to get a heart attack. Like and I couldn't explain it to myself. And I was like, how can I get a heart attack? I'm, mentally. And then I realized that it's anxiety that's built up to such a great degree. And I'm a person who's known for 50 years, never to be stressed, never to take stress. Like if something terrible happens, I say it's a learning experience. Let's learn from it. Let's move on. But I think a lot of things kept happening, building up, not realizing, I didn't take time for myself, which I always do. And when I got this, like kind of this feeling, like, and I took a step back and I said, breathe. Like, what have I been doing wrong? And I just realized that I wasn't stepping back and looking at situations. I was just diving into them, doing stuff, going with the flow, not saying, okay, this is a learning experience, but getting stressed about how am I going to do this? And the book happened at the same, like I was writing the book at the same time. I was shooting videos for the book. So there was just too much. And I just took a step back and I said, okay, you know what? I need to take 10 minutes off in a day to do nothing. And so I listen to this one prayer every morning. But while I'm listening to the prayer, I'm doing I'm doing stuff. So I just started breathing while listening to this prayer that I listen to every morning. And I just realized
what's the prayer, if you don't
it's a Yasin.
Okay.
It's the Yasin. So like my mom and all prayed, but because if I prayed the Yasin instead of 12 minutes, it would take me 2 hours. I just listen to it and I just sit and breathe now. And of course, now I've downloaded some great meditation. And my niece she went to an ayahuasca camp in somewhere. And she started the 66-day meditation group on Instagram, where you just meditate and say day 1 done, day 2 done, day 3 done. So I called her the next day and I said, hey, when is your next group starting? And she said, today. And I said, I'm in. So it was just being responsible enough, answerable to somebody, even if it was a WhatsApp
you feel
group.
like now meditation allows you, has been a contributor to help you deal with all of these multiple things happening?
I wouldn't pinpoint it, but I feel like just yesterday I told someone, I said, I feel like this cloud has been lifted off my head. And I think it's been about less than a month that I've been doing this meditation. So
it's already, actually, this is the first signs of meditation are reduced stress and slightly increased focus. So it's actually what's happening to you.
And another thing that I was doing was I was working out my Pilates practice. I like to do it with an instructor for the same reason that they constantly tell. I was doing it by myself. And I was like trying to finish it off because I had other things to do.
So actually for the Tibetan, we have this amazing Tibetan Rinpoche from Ladakh, Palga Rinpoche. He's done a bunch of Tibetan mantras, which sound like quite ethereal and divine. So we send it to you, see if you like it. You're a mom, and moms have a big role to play in, this thing what you're talking about, the fitness, making it part of every day. So if the country, I just feel like, if the whole country has to rise to the next level and everybody has to be more mindful, and we're gearing up for I would say the most important 40 to 50 years in recent history for this country. So, moms are going to have a role to play in driving an attitude of fitness. What is your message to moms as they're going about to do that?
So I lead by example, right? So I'll tell you what I used to do with my kids. So I have 2 boys, and growing up, they were, of course, into playing, going down and playing, and then computer games came in and PS came in. So there were hours they would be sitting playing PS. So after school was homework or tuitions and then PS. So I had a rule in my house that if you don't go down to play for an hour, earlier when they were very little, it was like you won't get to play the PS, right? And then they became older where that trick wouldn't work because they were like, okay, mom, whatever. So it was like, okay, you don't go down to do any kind of physical activity for an hour, you won't get dinner, right? And my kids were like, yeah, right, And the first day they didn't go down, and they would go down. The boys, they would play football, but there were days when they wouldn't. So the first day that they didn't go down, after I'd made this rule, I didn't give them dinner. So at 9 o'clock, which is dinner time for them, they were in their teens then, and they were like, Mom, dinner? And I was like, where was the hour of physical activity? And like, oh mom, we had homework. Yeah, but you were on the PS for an hour and a half. You could have like broken that time up. But mom, I was so tired after school. I was like, okay, go to bed without dinner. My husband got really angry and he was like, how can you do this to your kids? And I was like, did you do your 1 hour of workout? Did you go? He said, yeah, I went for a walk. I said, you get dinner? And they don't. And my husband like got really upset. Like, how can you? And I said, no, there has to be physical activity. I'm not saying go for a run. I'm not saying go to the gym. I'm just saying go down and play. And I had just come back from my walk and taken a shower before dinner. And they were like, okay, will you come down with us? And I was like, yeah, sure. I changed back. And then my husband got really angry again. He was like, but I said, they're testing me. And if I fail this test, that means they're going to hold it against me. So I don't want to give them this excuse that I wasn't, because they'll say, see, we asked you to come, but you were so tired and you expect us to do it when we're tired. So I was like, yeah, let's go.
So it starts with you.
It starts with you, always as a mother. When they were kids, I didn't give them sugar for a year.
Wow.
Okay, for a year. And I of course, I nursed them for 11 months and then started solids. And even my solids would be like, I would get pulses and then sprout them and then take them to the chakki and then get them pisoed and then make my own porridge with jaggery and water. And they never had milk other than mine till they became a little older and wanted to have cornflakes with milk or muesli with milk or whatever when they chose to. But as a mother, I never gave them milk other than mine. Never gave them sugar for a year. Never gave them biscuits. So you know what happens is when kids don't drink, eat or whatever, the first thing a mother does is give milk or give a biscuit, or to keep a child quiet, give a biscuit or give some chocolate. I never did those things. And my mom and my mother-in-law, of course, being grandparents, were always trying to, and I would have the biggest fights with them because I was like, don't do it. And they said, you're the only mother. You think we've not been mothers? And I'm like, no, the world's changing. It's changing. And I don't want them to get addicted to this because it's the easy way out. Yes, my kid is going to cry because he doesn't want to eat his vegetables. And I'll have to probably sit there for an hour to feed it to him rather than give him a biscuit or give him a bottle of milk, which he's going to finish in 5 minutes. But I would rather put that time in because it's going to show results later. They were allowed to have junk food once a week. Every Friday, they could order Chinese, they could order burgers, they could order pizzas. There was just one rule. They had to eat a salad before they ate anything. Right? So I got my vegetables in, and my kids grew up watching me eat salad. So they would actually complain to me if they didn't get salad with their meals. And they'd say, Mom, the cook is not giving us salad. So
a lot of it starts early.
It starts
It's programming.
early. It's programming. It's like, it's difficult when they're little. And when you have two boys who are 2 years apart and they're fighting and they want it and they're throwing a tantrum, to withstand that, and still stick to your grounds and, and being a working mother and, doing a lot of other things. But it's just like, and I used to always tell my kids when I made that rule, I told them, your 20-year-old self will thank me for doing this to you.
And do they now?
Yeah.
Amazing.
They do.
How old are they?
My older one is 25 and my younger one's 23. I mean, they're men now. They're not boys anymore.
Yeah.
But so, like I said, the older one works with me now.
Net, all women should educate more about themselves, more about nutrition. Second, be strict with the boundaries. Like, do that. Don't.
The boundaries are really what kids challenge you with,
Even family, right? You said.
Family, yeah.
And how does one have the mindset to maintain boundaries when, all this is happening?
Because I think if you believe in it, you just have, like my brother used to tell me that I'm the biggest tyrant and I'm only interested in proving myself, proving myself right if I've said it and I don't care. And, and I would be like, yeah, okay, done. That's what I am.
Tough love.
But yeah, it is. And I just think like I would give them money. Like my mom used to take them to the supermarket and give them money and say, go buy what you want with this money. and see if you can save it for next time. So it was also teaching them the value of money, because kids don't have value of money. Like, and they have now, because I was in America last month and my son wanted a pair of shoes, and I called him and I said, hey, I found these pair of shoes. And he said, how much is it? And he said, no, mom, forget it. I don't want them. They're too expensive. And I said, but I can afford it and you're working. And he's like, mom, doesn't make sense to buy such an expensive pair of shoes. And at 25 for a boy to say that is,
Raised well.
Yeah.
Raised well.
Knows the value of money. I think that's really important in today's world.
Now I want to switch gears a bit in today's world. So like one hand of this, we're talking about good values, and the other hand, you have like 2 calls and you can get MDMA at your doorstep, and it's lots of people consuming things like depression pills,
smoking, vaping.
Yeah, smoking, vaping, depression, anxiety pills. Drugs are so easily accessible. What is it doing to your body? Like from a fitness perspective?
So I think, firstly, I think with us, we need to change with times, right? And we know every kid is going to try it. Whatever your boundaries are, however, and the stricter you are, the more they're going to try it. So even though, like I said, I'm a strict mom and I'm a no-nonsense person, where these things were concerned, I was very open with my kids. And I was like, I need to know what you're doing. And it's fine. Tell me, because I don't want you to do something that I don't know. I don't want to be this mother like, oh, mera bacha to kuch nahi karta, And then one day you'll have an incident which will be worse than, as bad as death, and I'll have to face it then. So my kids know the first call when they're in trouble is me. However bad, even if they're drunk and they're like lying somewhere, their first call is with me. I said, because your parents are the only people who will handle the situation unconditionally. Yes, you will get, grounded maybe for whatever period of time, or your things will be taken away, you might, whatever. But to get you out of a tough situation is only a person who has unconditional love for you. And I think when you inculcate that in your kids, not to fear to call you when they're in trouble, is half your problem solved. Plus, then they're not tempted to try things because you're open with them. Right?
What is unconditional love for you?
What is unconditional love for me is accepting whatever the situation is with anybody. I might have my views on them, but I accept whatever it is, and dealing with them is something different. Right? Like whatever you do, I'm going to love you. I might not agree with what you're doing, and I will make it known, but the love is unconditional. Right? My love is not conditioned on, if you're a good kid, I will love you, but if you're which I don't think any parent, all parents have unconditional love. Even if they have kids who are rights. So, but I think from a health perspective and a fitness perspective, it's a high that comes down really fast and it crashes down. So it could give you, like, I've never tried MDMA, so I don't know what it does to you in terms of your mind, but I believe it takes you to a high, and then you can never maintain that feeling, right? So it's like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it takes you to a feeling where everything is beautiful and everything. Is that MDMA?
Yeah.
Right? And when you get off it, you go so low because life is not like that. Right? Vaping, smoking, they all have side effects. I think what people need to know is do it with knowledge. I know smoking is going to do this to my body, but I still choose to do it. I know I will have these health conditions and I will look for the signs for them. Because honestly, the one thing you cannot do is tell a smoker to quit smoking unless she wants to.
You mentioned Instagram. Like from there we'll take one direction. So a lot of we were researching, and a lot of people said ki because of Instagram they have eating disorder, body image issue. What's your message to people or to the young generation who are facing body image issue? And
I feel like Instagram is a stage. It's like a theater. It's like a movie where you put your best pictures up, where you put your happiest smiles up, where you put your you're eating a salad, you'll put a picture of a salad. So and I'll give you an example of this friend of mine, and she's a big foodie and I know it, and every time she'll put like this healthy food, and I send her a DM saying, what did you eat after that? What did you eat before that? And she laughs and she's like, you always catch me. And I'm like, because we only put out on Instagram what we want the world to see of us, right? How many of us will put a picture where we're looking the worst? Like we've just gotten up out of bed and even the pictures of people who get out of bed, have you seen them? Who looks like that when you get out of bed? Right? So if I'm doing an endorsement where I have to get out of bed and then I obviously have done my hair a little nicely. I'm wearing my best night suit. I've probably bought a night suit to wear just for that occasion. I've put a little no makeup look. That's Instagram. I'm not going to put myself out there. And I don't think people who watch Instagram should feel belittled by it or feel like, oh my God, this person has the perfect body. Because if you've seen some Instagrammers actually put out what their Instagram body looks like to what their body is. So when you're on Instagram, you're going to sit up straight, you're going to pull your abdominals in, and you're going to take 100 pictures, out of which one will have caught you looking the best, and that's what you're going to post. Right? In normal day life, we don't have time to do stuff like that. So I just feel like people need to believe in themselves, and it comes down to being happy with who you are and what you are. And I think it's so much more than what you look. It's what are you working towards? What are you achieving?
How can one be happy with themselves? It's a very easy statement you said.
Right.
But
hard to execute.
Yeah, it's easy to say, hard to execute. Like, how do I be happy with myself?
So I'll tell you how I'm happy with myself. I'm in a profession that I love. Like sometimes people ask me, don't you get bored doing the same thing? But I'm not doing the same thing. I'm training different bodies. Every body is different. I love my work. So I wake up every morning looking forward to going to work. I don't feel like, oh God, today I have to go to work. So find a profession that you love doing, right? Find a partner that lets you be who you are and doesn't expect too much from you. So I know that, there's love and then there's compatibility. So the compatibility portion is as important as the love portion in a relationship. And when you're a parent, be ready to be a parent. Don't be a parent because everyone around you is having children, and that's what I waited for 5 years before I had my kids after I got married, because I had an arranged marriage. I wanted to spend time, get to know my husband, get comfortable with him. But of course I got married really early, and most people don't have the luxury today because people get married so late. But I think it's very internal. Meditate, find your breath, find the peace in your breath.
I noticed one thing. There's two kinds of people. There's one kind of person you will ask, what do you think? And they will spell out advice. And every time we've done that on this podcast, you've said, I'm going to bring it back to my own experience, which is what I'm noticing about you, that, you're not, even for somebody who's so accomplished and has seen so much and achieved so much, you're really not there to dispense advice. You're just like, you're like, bring it back to, look, this is what I've done. Now you want to take it. You don't want to take it, don't take it.
Because like you said, it's so easy to say, be happy. But how do you define happiness? Because happiness for me, happiness for you, and happiness for him are three completely different things, right? So I can only tell you my experience. I can't tell you what to expect to be happy, because that's like Instagram. I'm telling you, okay, this is what will make you happy. And if you get this, and there's something lacking and you're still not happy, you'll say, but you told me. So it's like when somebody comes to me and says, how much weight will I lose? You've told me join for 3 months. How much weight will I lose in 3 months? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, how can you not know? You're a fitness expert with 30 years of experience. And I'm like, because I've never worked with you before. And a lot of times people don't like my answer, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you, yes, 5 kilos will go. Yes, 5 kilos are the byproduct of you working out. My first goal when somebody joins is to make it a lifestyle. Because it's not a destination. And yes, you will lose weight. I don't know what your metabolism is. I don't know what your BMR is. I don't know what your food habits are. You've just come to ask me advice on working out, which I'm giving you. I think, these are your goals. Let's do 3 times a week for 3 months and see where we go. But I can't give you a number. And if I am giving you a number, I'm lying. Because I don't know anything about you. So I have when I was younger, and I've always been like that for 30 years, this is what I've said. And when I was younger and I was just starting out, people said, but that trainer told us that we lose 5 kilos. You're not even guaranteeing that. Why should we come to you? And I'm like, don't.
It's interesting you spoke about all these parameters that help you arrive at the conclusion. So, what are some of these parameters that help you arrive at a conclusion? Like I appreciate, and I'm also able to see how your Pilates approach is your approach to life also, because, your answer was that you first said that, look, for everybody, it's different. Even the workout for the day, I will write it down, but I will customize it based on that very moment. And that seems to be your approach to life also, because it's in that moment. So it's very, very present. It's very, very tuned. But coming to this, this thing about health, because most people have, they exactly like you said, they are just chasing the goal, but there's so much detail in the process to chase the goal. So what are some of those elements of the process you track or recommend people to track?
So like I said earlier, what you put in your mouth is the most important, right? Right now we're only hearing gut health. Do this for your gut health, take this medicine for your gut health. But what are you eating every day for your gut, right? That's so important. Am I eating my vegetables? If I'm eating protein, am I breaking the protein down with eating vegetables as well? Because right now we hear high protein diet, which is great. I'm totally for it. But I feel like with the high protein diet, the vegetables are important, because where's your roughage going to come from? The same way with gut health, it's great to have gut health, but you're not going to get it in a pill only. With the pill has to be the food that, complements it. The second is exercising every day. And like I told you earlier, even 10 minutes a day, unless you have a goal of weight loss, or you have a goal of entering a competition, or working for a movie, or working, modeling, or where you have a goal where you know that you need to put in more than 10 days. But if you're looking for a fit lifestyle, I think 10 minutes of movement a day is more than enough. Because the first thing I hear, I don't have time. I work long hours. I work till 7 o'clock in the evening and I can't make it to class, but I'm really dying to work out. So if you're dying to work out, wouldn't you already be dead if you aren't working out? So it's just things we say, but it's a plan, right? And again, when you're working out, find something that you like working out. And that's why, like I said in my book, I have upper body, lower body, full body, cardio and abs, because what more are you going to look for? Right? You might be a person who doesn't like to do body part workout. You like to do full body. You might be a person who only wants to work on your abs. He might be a person who wants to do cardio, because right now in the rains, you can't go out and walk. So I feel like finding what you like to do, making it a part of your life. I also think sometimes it's the people around you that make a big difference to your well-being. Like, are you with people because you need to be with them? Or are you with people because you really enjoy being with them? Or do you have a balance where you're with people because for work or whatever, and then you're with people where you can just be yourself and let your hair down and, enjoy being?
Follow up on the question, like what we are discussing, according to you in 2023, who is considered fit? Like who is considered
A person who can get out of bed ready to face the day and goes to bed not exhausted but nicely tired and gets a good night's sleep without having again waking up saying I was in bed but I didn't get sleep for that many hours. For me, that is a fit person.
That's so good. It's so good because it's like, it's not fancy, it's like simple. It's
and it's something that most people don't achieve. They're running towards fitness, but fitness is right there.
I want to kind of close in with a little bit about, you said running towards achieve, but you also work with a lot of achievers, people who've achieved, people who've, kind of been there. So a lot of these actresses that you work with, what do you think differentiates them from the regular?
They are consistent. They're hardworking. They are focused on themselves being better performers with every movie. They all are in the same genre, right? And I train all of them, and they meet at the gym, and they're not the best of friends, but they know each other, right? And at the same time, they're not insecure with me training each of them, because we've heard that everyone is so territorial, and it's like she's my trainer and I will not share her with the other person. But I think all these people who've reached that kind of place or position in life, they're very confident. They leave their inconfidences at home, right? Their insecurities at home, and they put their best foot forward. And when they put their best foot forward, it's not because it was handed to any of them on a platter. They all worked for it. And I know that we have nepotism now, but even those kids have to, okay, maybe the first movie comes to them, but the public is not kind. We are not going to accept somebody just because they're XYZs. We'll go to watch them because they're XYZs, kids. But we are even more tougher than them if their parent was a super achiever. So we are going to judge them with those eyes, and we expect excellence out of them. So I just feel like all the people that I work with, or all the people in this industry or any industry who are achievers, are really people who work very, very hard to get there and have put all that it takes to get there.
I'm just curious. The thing that that caught my imagination was you have multiple actresses working in your studio together, working out in your studio together.
One after the other.
One after the other. Okay, that must be like, it's if they're all doing it together, that's
no. So see, again, with time, like we've all heard that actresses never keep time, or actors, but like say I have Alia 9 to 10, I have Deepika 10 to 11, I have Katrina 11 to 12, and they know, so they all keep to their time. Or forget, even like if I'm training Katrina 9 to 10 and I have another person who's not a celebrity but just a regular client at 10 o'clock, and Katrina's not finished her workout, she will be like, you know what, I'll finish this on my own. Your next client is waiting. And she respects that. It's not like, oh, let the client wait. I'm a celebrity. You need to cater to me.
This thing of respect, actually, you seem to have a lot of it, because, I went on your YouTube channel and saw, and you're doing a video with Katrina, or you're doing a video with Deepika. And in today's, let me put it bluntly, like it's a commercial world, and they very willingly and very openly are giving to you. So that's obviously a big sign of respect. How does somebody reach there?
By being honest. Just by being honest, and by being hardworking and true. Like I don't.
No, but honest is it?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's again comes back to any question I'm asking about, like other things. You're just honest to, look, this is me, and this is you centered to yourself, and you are as you appear. Amazing. Okay, so on that note, thank you so much for sharing so much with us about your life and the experiences you've drawn from, a little bit of your world. I don't think so many people get to go inside your world a bit, so it's really nice of you to share that, and the stories of your motherhood and how you inculcated fitness, and also what you feel are the challenges for today and these simple tips to be able to achieve what is health in 2023. So thank you so much for
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely speaking to you guys. What was really refreshing is that you'll asked a lot of different questions, and everything I said, you asked me a question on that. So I think for me also, I was like kind of thinking and speaking differently, which was very refreshing. So thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.